We just wanted to let you know that if you're just hanging around for Blair and High Point Lacrosse, that obviously they haven't started yet, and they're working on getting the clock set up. We had a little bit of a weather delay. There was some lightning, some thunder. The rain came down, but obviously they'll play in that, which is what they're about to do. The start time, I was told, was around 6:55, so the next couple of minutes they should be getting the sticks together and getting started. Just wanted to let you know if you're hanging around and wondering why they haven't started yet. Ran into a little bit of inclement weather, some lightning and thunder. It looks like that's subsided for now, and they'll play in light drizzle, and looks like they're going to get set to get going moments from now. So we'll bring you that game coming up. Thanks for sticking with us on the Play-by-Play Sports Network. And looks like we're ready to get rolling. Welcome in this evening to Blairstown, Hampshire Field, the home of the Buccaneers, as they get set to take on High Point. We'll give you all the information as the game progresses. And we're set to face it off. The Blair Academy Bucks, they're the Lacrosse team. As we'll talk about throughout the broadcast, a little bit of a struggle last year, a lot of improvement this season so far under Coach Wenner. 6-5 record against a struggling High Point squad. And they are out of Sussex. They have one win, and that was in their last contest at Parsippany. Last game out for Blair, it was a big one. They beat Petty in a grudge match, and that was for first round in states. So they advance in the state tournament as they control, moving right to left as you see it, in the whites with the blues. And Thomas Jenkins, nice take there as we'll get set up here. 11:17 to go in the first quarter, and already Blair on the board. 1-0 Buccaneers. Blair Academy had a 4-game winning streak earlier this season in which they averaged 11 goals per game. They outscored their opponents 44-16 over that stretch, and Jenkins was one of the players who was instrumental in getting that done. Blair fans know him on the football field as the quarterback and captain, and Coach Wenner said that his leadership has really been what has helped this team come along. It's a Blair team that has built its program on bringing in the young guys, letting the youth play right away. There were some impact players that came in, 4 impact players. And this is a nice matchup for Blair to try to get things going after we had a weather delay. And we'll try to get another win streak going, again, coming off that win. That was following 3 losses. And some of their losses have been close ones, a couple of 1-goal losses. Jenkins now, by the way, with 26 goals on the season, far and away the team leader. And we'll mention a couple other names as we move along. John Hand Park. Blair still controlling in the attack zone. Now back out to the point. And racing after it, Jake O'Connor. And scooped up for a moment by Dijay Pearson. And we have a violation. Going to have a little bit of a change. Pearson is another key player. He is one of those PGs. Guy is going to be going to Bryant, and of course All-American caliber type player. And his defense has kept the team in games, as has his offense. That's what you want out of a long stick midi. Guy is versatile, got some speed. And nice take, nice save there by Carter Albers out of Middlesburg, Virginia. And as he's going to have to clear the zone. Clear time for Blair as they work it forward. Max Thorsheim. Thorsheim on the left side trying to push it in. Fires and just wide. 9:49 left. I'll try to do a better job keeping you honest there time-wise once we get the clock working. But 9:43 and counting left in the first quarter. It's 1-0 Blair. And controlling now is O'Connor. Sidesteps a man, now trying to work his way in. And behind the cage. John Haddon, class of 2021. He is the player who has the distinction of scoring that game winner in that key win over Petty. Only 50 seconds left. He netted that out of Hardwick, New Jersey. And that leads them to their next matchup. They will be at Hun on the 30th. Once again, driving, it's O'Connor. And he's able to fire it in. 2-0. Bucks in the lead. 9:01 to go in the first quarter. I mentioned it's a struggling High Point squad. Their leading player is John Morris. He is a midfielder. He's the only player who has double-digit goals on the High Point squad. Coming into this one with 13. And they will try to corral him. He is number 39. Taking the face-off is Riley Yee. We were talking about some impact players out of Northampton, Pennsylvania. He is also of the class of 2021. He is in the position of the FOGO, or face-off get-out, as the acronym refers to in lacrosse. He's that face-off specialist, the guy that works on the caging and clawing and the raking, and he does a very good job of it. Coach Wenner said that he has made some immense improvements, so much so that he actually was going to be one of the keys to this matchup. He said that Yee's been coming along well and putting in tremendous effort, become fantastic at that specialist position. And Blair's controlling this game early. They are up 2-0, 8:34 left in the first quarter, playing at Hampshire Field. Driving now, Thorsheim. And Thorsheim finds the back of the net. So it's a 3-0 lead for the Buccaneers already. 8:26 left in the first quarter. So the losses for Blair, 6-5. That was at home to the Hill School. And then 10-5, Wyoming Seminary, and then Lawrenceville. So those are 3 in a row after they had put together a little bit of a win streak. Trying to get another win streak together. Again, this is that game, that prep game for the next contest in states at Hun on the 30th. The win against Petty followed a loss earlier in the season. So earlier in the season, Blair took on Petty, and they led 2-0 at the end of the first quarter. Dropped that one. That was a tough one. It was 5-3 Petty at half, and they came away with the victory. But it speaks to the character of the Blair program and what they were able to do to come back and come away with that win. A very important win. Coach Wenner really, really proud of his boys after a 6-5 victory. And getting it out of trouble. Nice job by Albers. Al Pearson floats it forward. Dylan Benson coming down the left side. Ahead to Thorsheim. Max Thorsheim into the attack zone. Nice spin move. Now back to Cody Romano. Penn State commit in Newton, New Jersey. A couple of big commitments. We mentioned Pearson. Jenkins as well to Oberlin. Joyce to Navy. Mentioned a lot of those things throughout the football season, of course. Now it's Thorsheim with some speed. A 3-0 Blair lead, and the shot saved. And that's the keeper. Francois. Zachary Mazza, one of the defenders for High Point. Slings it forward. Pearson, the long stick, could not get the reach, but he's got the speed and agility, and he's able to catch up to that one. Now Michael Uglum out of White Plains, New York. Class of 2018. Loses it for a moment. And a chance for High Point to set up. The Wildcats, again, coming into this one, 1-9, 0-7 in the league, playing in the NJILL. And it was Morris, again, 13 goals and 14 points on the season. He's got the rock at the moment. Spin move, loses his footing on the wet turf, fires the shot off the top of the cage, and right into the breadbasket of Pearson. Pearson floating forward. Tajay Pearson ahead, and that one is intercepted and taken away. 3-0, Blair in front, 6:33 left in the first quarter of play. Thorsheim has it popped in the air. Out to Garrett Long. A turnaround shot. No good, just missed the cage. That was from John Haddon. Jenkins with a goal today. He was the one who scored first early on in the contest. And it's Cody Romano sizing up the defense. And now backing off, Evan Grohowski. We should mention Blair is very excited to have back. It's his first game back today. Again, 3-0 Blair in front, 5:47 left in the first quarter. Ground ball scooped up. Cody Romano. Romano trying to find space. A 3-0 Blair lead early on. They've been dominant. Nice shot and a goal. Another goal for Max Dorshot. 4-0, and High Point will take a timeout. 5:01 left in the first quarter of play. Out of the timeout, it's 4-0 Blair Academy. Thanks for joining us on Play by Play Sports Network. The Blair team in 2017 in the final NJ.com prep rankings, they were at the bottom, around a 1-9 record. But they've turned things around quite nicely and had a chance to catch up with some of the Blair players a little bit earlier in the season, and they really loved how they've matured. And Grohowski, again, we'll touch on him in just a moment, coming back today. He said that the past 3 years, the mindset had been they're not the best team, but they're also not the worst either, and they kind of got comfortable with that. And this year, they really wanted to be the best. And that improvement has certainly shown, and a lot of credit goes out to Coach Wenner and these boys as well. A very old team, I guess you could say, with some key newcomers. But again, you've got double-digit seniors on this player squad, around 11 seniors on the roster. Compared to last year, you had a team that was down to around 15 by the end of the season, 15 players, and now they're carrying over 20. So certainly a resurgence of that Blair lacrosse program. And Blair controlling in the defensive zone. It's Grohowski again. He was battling mono. He had been out since that loss to Petty, and it was a big loss not having him. Brad Siggety stepped up and did well in his absence, and we've got another Blair goal as they lead now by a score of 5-0. Thorsheim has been hot today. That hat trick territory and then some in lacrosse. He was the leading scorer along with Thomas Jenkins back in the Mercersburg affair. That was a 10-1 victory on the 7th. (5-0) Blair, and thankfully you can now see the time that is remaining in the first quarter. 4:04 as they're having some fun with the clock here out in the rain. Otherwise, the temperatures are okay, around 60 degrees in this evening. Controlling, again, that is the man to watch for High Point. It's Morris coming in with 14 points, snaking his way in. Backhand shot, and High Point's on the board. One guy you got to watch is that 39. He was the leading scorer in the lone victory last time out. He had 3 goals in the win at Parsippany. As Yi will get set to face it off. Also in that last game, we talked a lot about Haddon scoring the game winner with only 50 seconds left. Romano had 2 goals and assists as well, and Pearson, he was all over the field. 7 ground balls and a goal. That was in that big victory, 6-5 over Petty in the first round of states. So you're talking about the improvement of this team and where they've come from last year, struggling a little bit, to this year now, moving ahead in states and have their sets sight pretty high. Their sights set pretty high, that is, as they will move forward, and Pearson will quarterback the offense. Owen Donaghy, his brother's on the team as well. And now rotation. 4-goal lead for Blair still in the first quarter of play. Gabriel Kendra in the mix. Junhan Park from Seoul, the class of 2019. Battling underneath, scooped up by Kenja. Kenja out of New York. He's class of 2020. Now behind the cage. Garrett Long out of Hardwick, New Jersey. Rotates around. Final 3 minutes. 2:54 to play in the quarter. Working on Jacob Carter defensively. Kenja the shot a little bit wide. Looking at the other upcoming matchups for Blair, again, it'll be Hun on the 30th, then Pope John on the 2nd of May, Hun again on the 4th, and Gill St. Bernard's on the 5th. And then a possible another state matchup, and if Blair continues to play the way they are right now, watch out. Again, they're clearly favored coming into this game against the struggling High Point squad, and they've been able to pile up the goals in bunches here. A Blair team that averaged 11 goals per game in that 4-game win streak earlier this season. And they now lead 6-1. Lorsheim with at least a triple in this game. Jenkins got things started with a nice move up the middle. And it'll be Yee again to take the face-off. It's a Blair sports program that has enjoyed quite a bit of success in this season. Of course, the basketball squads, 8 consecutive girls titles. Maple boys 3rd in the last 4 years in terms of championships. And Lacrosse, with their program's resurgence, trying to get some things put together here. Morris is going to have some other ideas. Far and away the best player on this High Point squad. And he had 14 points coming in. He's got the lone goal for the Wildcats. The next highest goal scorer, the stats we had were around 5 goals. So there he is outside the attack zone. Now scooped up in the air, bobbled forward. And it'll go back to Blair. Jenkins drifting away, coming back in. He's at the point. He does not have it right now. It's Sorsheim of multiple goals today. He has had the hot hand for Blair coming off that left side. Now Jenkins has it. And works his way around to Kolioko. Back to Thorsheim. Playing catch now for Blair. One of their most patient offensive possessions. Jenkins inside, wide open, and finds the back of the net. That's Andrew Furciato out of Mount Arlington, New Jersey. Well done. Great positioning. Stayed outside the crease, and High Point forgot about him. Got to give Jenkins the credit there on that pass across. 7-1 Blair in front. One of their bigger victories this season was that Mercersburg affair we mentioned. That was 10-1 for Blair. And their biggest scoring margin was 12 goals in a win against Morristown Friends. And Jenkins had 4 goals in that game. And Kolioko had 3 goals, all in the 4th quarter against Morristown Friends. So we'll see if Blair can match their largest margin. Now, of course, it's still early, still in the first quarter. A rocket from Jenkins bounces away, and Thorsheim behind the cage. That one looked like it was going to go in, did not. Nice scoop up. Furciato, who scored the previous goal. And now it is Park who rotates. Final minutes of the first quarter, a 6-goal advantage for the Bucks. And now Kenja hopping his way in. Nice spin move. Rotates. There he is again on the doorstep for Seattle, and he finds a way to score that one as well. 8-1. The positioning is just outstanding. There's another school of thought there, of course, where the defense maybe is napping a little bit, but again, you got to give credit where credit's due. The passing has been great, and a great job by Furciato of finding the back of the cage. So that will send Yee back out into the face-off circle. And on that 4-game winning streak that lasted from 331 until 4-9 this season, he was a monster in the face-off circle. He was around 80% on some of his face-offs, and that was key to some of those victories earlier for Blair. Coming off of 3 losses, again, that big 6-5 victory last time out against Petty, and this would be nice against High Point if they can come away with the victory. And the early signs are that might be the case. We're still in the first quarter, final 36 ticks of it. A 7-goal lead now for the Buccaneers. Here's Morris, the lone tally for the Wildcats, working against Pearson. Oh, nice job. A little bit of stick checking. Turning back toward the middle. It's been a pretty well-played game. We haven't had a lot of penalties or violations. We've had a couple of timeouts. And we'll take one here. So that allows us to get a look at our coach's corner. And that is Coach Winner. As you can see there, a Blair graduate. And he is coming here from Seattle. He joined Blair's admission team in 2012. And then after graduating from Blair, he earned a bachelor's in European history from the U.S. Military Academy at West Point. And then he entered the Army as a field artillery officer, was assigned to live in Germany, and he spent most of his career on deployment operations there, and transitioned to the business world, and eventually found his way back to Blair, where he is the Associate Dean of Admission, as you see there. And he's also the boys' lacrosse coach, and he enjoys the outdoors, of course. And he has enjoyed shepherding this squad. It's a Blair lacrosse program founded in 1972. And they've historically built from the bottom up, bringing in some top talent at the freshman class. It just so happens, though, that this season they are loaded at the top. So we'll see how that ends up playing itself out. As it certainly has been an outstanding season so far this year. They're a game above 500, looking to stay so, as they have an outstanding performance against High Point thus far. And we're back underway at Hampshire Field. In the corner, and that would be Morris. Morris, as time expires in the first quarter. So 8-1 is your score after 1 at Hampshire Field. Step aside for a moment. Looks like the rain has lightened up a little bit as we get set to begin the second quarter of play. A big lead for Blair Academy. Brings us to our player to watch in this one, Dijay Pearson, class of 2018. We mentioned going to Bryant University, one of the key cogs on the football program for Blair, former star player for Harlem Lacrosse. He plays that long stick midi position. We got the 12 minutes on the clock set for the second quarter of play. So Blair team, again, these seniors have been through a lot, Sunday clinics throughout the fall, working on the skill development. And again, as we mentioned, a lot of these players participating in multiple sports at the time, looking at team unity, stick skill improvement. They've got the program trip, lacrosse program trip during the break, and an opportunity to test their mettle against some great teams, and again, some improvement for the double-digit group of seniors for this Blair program. And they're hoping that the sky is the limit again, coming off that first round of state's victory. 6-5, certainly improvement from where they were last year, and you got those 2 one-goal losses against some tough teams. Haven't touched on Albers much yet, as he is the Blair goalie. We have not seen a lot in the attack zone for High Point in this game. It's Antico with it now, and Albers coming in with over 100 saves. He has been among that improvement as well for Coach Winter and the program. And it's Pearson now, coasting down the left side, and now he's going to put on the Jets a little bit. He's got a chance, and that one somehow finds the back of the net. The positioning was there. I was assuming it wasn't going to be Pearson who scored, but I guess you take him any way you can get him. And so now it is 9-1, Blair. And I imagine he's going to get the goal for that one. A little unconventional. And now it's 9-1. It's the first goal of the second quarter. So Jenkins started us off not too long into this one with his 26th goal of the season. And Thorsheim got a couple as well in this one. He came into this game with 8. We mentioned he was shared for the team lead in one of the contests against Mercersburg this season in terms of goals. And he has really jump-started things here for the Buccaneers. 11:17 left. And back into that face-off circle again. He, once again, has been outstanding in terms of face-off ability. He has improved a lot this year, and Coach had a lot of good things to say about him. And once again, he wins that face-off. Again, when he has that ability to go over 80% or so from the circle, it's usually a Blair victory. He's done a very good job. And again, one of 4, at least as Coach Wenner was thinking at the beginning of the season, impact players coming right in and getting a chance to set things up. On the right of the cage. There's Thorsheim again. Bounces it out to the point. And that's Jenkins. Thomas Jenkins trying to find some space. He floats it across the way. Ronan Smarth. Smarth has it tipped away and out of the clutches for the moment. But back into Blair and hitting the turf. Great job of keeping possession, though. That was Cody Romano. Back to Jenkins, trying to find some space. High Point starting to consolidate a little bit on D and trying to close those gaps. Now near the goal line. Trying to work it behind the cage and rotate play. Furciato had 2 goals. He was sitting right in front of the keeper. And passes by Jenkins and I believe possibly Pearson, if I get that correct, found him. And he was able to come away with a couple of goals back in the first quarter. Just 1 goal in this quarter so far. That was from Pearson. A knuckleball there. Working inside. Nice attempt. Flipped up and over. And that was Romano who came in initially. And then in on the help was Kolioko. Vincent Kolioko out of Sparta, New Jersey. Able to find the back of the net in the game so far. Jenkins. A little curveball. Well, once again, there he is. It's Furciato playing the man of that hockey mucking and grinder, trying to screen the keeper. And I was saying earlier how we didn't have a lot of penalties, violations in this one. We get our first. And trotting over is Jacob Carter of the High Point Wildcats. So an opportunity for Blair here. Play back underway. Jenkins sizing things up, rotating around. Thorsheim back to Jenkins. Now it's Haddon, who had that game winner with 50 seconds left in the first round of states. Haddon is calling for it on the right side. We'll see what Jenkins does. He fires it right in. There's Thorsheim on the doorstep. Body checked, sends it away. Jenkins fires for Seattle, tipped away. Or excuse me, that was Garrett Long. Long now to Thorsheim. Back to the point. Jenkins scores. Rocket from Thomas Jenkins. And he's got yet another goal in this one. Quarterback that one. Playing a man up. And it's a 10-1 lead. Blair heavily favored on paper in this before coming in. The High Point team coming off its just first victory of the season last time out. 6-5 against Parsippany. They do have trying to find a common opponent. And they lost 18-2 to Newton. I probably should have done this at the start just to give you an idea of how these two teams stack up. Blair also played Newton, came away with a 15-4 victory. So that might tell you a little bit about the numbers on paper coming in. Blair looking to move to 7-5. 10-1 score. Thorsheim for Seattle. Now Jenkins trying to battle for the lead in goals in this one. 9-goal advantage, 8:26 left. There's Morris. He scored the only goal for High Point so far. Spins it in. Nice move with the stick, and it was blocked away. I believe that was Joyce, one of the defenders in there. Great job to get a stick on it and bat it down before it got to Albers. And that is Joyce, who is trotting off. And coming on is Brad Siggety. Siggety stepped up in place of Grohowski, who had been out since mono, and Blair able to get him back. So that's certainly a pleasant sign as they continue to move forward. And coming up to the top of the attack zone, it's Jacob Carter. Cisco sent it to Morris. There's Morris again. Blair doing a good job on him, keeping him honest in the body. It's Aiden Donahue. He's number 10 playing on that right side. They find Morris again. Morris making a couple of steps in, trying to tempt the Blair defense. It's been moved the other side, and he's able to get a goal. 2 goals for Morris, the leading scorer on the High Point squad, and it's 10-2. .7:38 to play in the second quarter. An 8-goal lead now for Blair. Back at midfield again for the faceoff. Again, I don't have the numbers, but he has been very effective in this game. And storming down the field, Hunter Sloan out of Newton. And now it's Thorsheim. Tripled it up from the goal scoring perspective already in the first quarter. O'Connor directing traffic. He'll float it over to Owen Donahue. Owen now down. Thorsheim back to Donahue. And now it's O'Connor. John Haddon behind the cage. Kolioko, very athletic move to keep things alive. 6:52 left in the second. 8-goal lead for Blair. And testing the defense, Haddon. on a slippery evening. The start of this one was delayed by about 20 minutes, 25 minutes. There was some lightning, some thunder, and it rained a lot. Still raining now on the field. Kenja to rocket. Sails wide. And the closest player, of course, gets the chance to control, so Blair continues. And the High Point coaches trying to get their defensemen to start moving their feet a little more and stop watching like it was a tennis match as Blair rotates around. Blair's had some patient possessions. They had some aggressive possessions as well. And inside underneath. Just missed. Near goal there by Owen Donahue. It was controlled by Francois. Francois worked it forward. Now it's Danton Hall. Hall on the right side for High Point. He flips it forward. Cisco underneath. Tipped around. Ball on the ground. Who's going to have it? 5:47 left in the half. Controlled for a moment, and it's Pearson again, our player to watch. Already has a goal today, and came away with that pickup. The long stick midi for Blair. And that is Uglum charging down the field. Oh, body check as he runs over him, man. That was Albulescu. We'll stop play for that. That's aggression right there for sure. And controlling now will be Cisco. Another player hits the dirt. Thorsheim was right on top of him. Scooped up Brock Cisco. Trying to find a way to scoop it up. Blair doing a good job of harrying him. Now it's Kolioko. He'll jog his way into better positioning. Try to lead from the back. And now it's Jenkins. Jenkins across the pitch. Romano. Now John Haddon. Swung back around. A 10-2 lead for Blair. They led at least 8-1 after one. And Francois finally able to come away with another save. Noah Francois, the keeper for High Point. Zachary Mazza, the defender. And coming forward is Cameron Lake. Lake has his pass intercepted by Pearson. Pearson speeding down the field. He wants this one. Oh, he's going to put on the brakes, turn back, and bounce it into the back of the net. That's Pearson. He's got his second. 11-2. Well, both his shots have gone in here. Pearson had 2 goals and 2 assists in the big win against Morristown Friends. That was the 12-goal margin that has been set as the largest margin of victory this season by Blair. Aiming for that one again. Pearson does a little bit of everything. He's got the ground ball stats to back it up, but he can also score and assist as well. You have some of those guys every once in a while that they're very good at other sports. Wow. A heavy body check and play continues. That was Uglum. Flipped up into the air. And Thorsheim rotates around. Back to Jenkins. Jenkins has got a couple of tallies in this matchup. 3:37 left in the first quarter. James O'Connor. JV game, by the way, today I hear was canceled. They had some JV players who did dress. Trying to get some of those players some experience as well. And a rocket from the point goes in. Junahan Park on the board. And Blair continues. It's incredible start to this one. And in the second quarter, 3:09 left, 12-2. Your score. Blair in the lead. I'll certainly take this one coming in to halftime the way they've been playing. Another face-off controlled by Riley Yee out of Northampton. He'll come off with his job done. He's been outstanding at controlling play, giving Blair that early advantage. High Point, I believe, has scored on every one of their offensive possessions, but they haven't had many. Morris has both the goals. I don't think they have, actually, as Albers does have a couple of saves registered in this one. Not too many, though. It's been a majority of the play taking place in that defensive zone for the Wildcats as the Buccaneers continue to control. This is Romano. Snakes his way underneath. Couldn't control the pass away from Haddon. So Zachary Mazza scoops it up for High Point. And they're trying to clear, and they do. Jacob Carter now loops it off the stick, errant stick of Troy Van Orden. It's actually Harold Leslie. Almost an interception and a run out the other way by Pearson. Morris is drifting over to the sideline now. Final 1:55 of the second quarter. 10-goal advantage for the Blair Academy Buccaneers. It's Romano. And now Thorsheim. Kolioko. Back to Thorsheim. A little bit of space. High Point has made a little bit of adjustment. They've done a good job. Furciato had a couple of goals right off the right shoulder of the keeper, Francois, earlier on, and nobody marked him. Trying to keep that man underneath. Romano stepping his way in. It's actually a good job by Danton Hall in the back of D'ing up. He's number 33. Romano had a chance at a shot there, bounced it back to awaiting Kolioko. 1:12 to play in the second quarter. Jenkins sidestepping a man and backing up. And now Romano. Thorsheim. It's been quiet on the scoreboard since the opening moments of the first quarter. Batted around and controlled. High Point trying to desperately get out of the zone. Brock Sisko puts on the brakes. 45 ticks to go in the half. Romano's really testing him. Great strength there. Final 36 seconds now. And we have a hold. Sometimes you can get a little bit too aggressive. Coming back is Jenkins. Over to the sideline. Evan Grohowski is back out there. One of the defenders. And the shot sailing wide from Morris. Morris, both goals. He's been the only player for the Red Shirts to really make an offensive impact in this one. It's one of those games where you show up and you don't know anything about the other team, and you don't even have to look at the stat sheet to find out who the leading scorer, leading point getter is on the other squad. Pearson looking for some room. He's got 20 seconds. Now Haddon about to end the first half of play. Garrett Long snaking the corner. Feeds off for Jenkins. Jenkins in a man-up situation. He was able to score earlier. The rocket past the left shoulder of the keeper, Francois. And he will just wisely wait it out. Apparently that's the strategy. And it'll be 12-2, the Blair halftime advantage on the Play-by-Play Sports Network. We'll have the second half We'll see if Blair can continue its flurry of scoring coming up. And we are back underway. As that number is that 12-goal advantage for the running time, as they were saying on the field, or that running clock. So we'll see if we get to that point. We are in the third quarter now. It's a big advantage for Blair Academy. On what had been a very, very wet night. We started off with Jenkins a couple of minutes into the first quarter. Just fired a rocket in, and then Thorsheim picked up a few tallies as well. It was a big lead for Blair. They had at least a 7-goal margin after one, and now they lead 12-2 here as we are just about a minute into the third quarter. 11:10 left in the quarter. Thanks for joining us on the Play-by-Play Sports Network tonight. Had a chance to cover Blair softball recently as well, and they came away with a victory over Newton. It's Morris who has the 2 goals for High Point, 1 in each quarter. Francois has been just bombarded with shots, and that's Morris, his hands outstretched, didn't know what to do there. So Thorsheim, again, the player who did not have double-digit goals coming in, a nice role player, one of the veteran leaders for this Blair squad, and he certainly found the mark on a number of occasions tonight in terms of goal scoring. Really, every player has done a good job. Park also has a goal in this one. Now it's Haddon behind the cage, rotated around. 10:21 left in the third. Kaja now playing catch. Kenja. Now it's Park. And back around the way. Kenja captaining the point here. Gets by him. And a nice save by Jake O'Connor to keep things alive. O'Connor out of Simpsonsville, South Carolina. Class of 2020. Back to that goal line. Coming out trying to find some space. Another patient attack opportunity for the Bucks. Park rotating around. 9:44 left in the third. 10-goal advantage. And Blair had at least a 7-goal advantage after one. Looking for our first goal of the second half. Thorsheim working his way in. Gets the opportunity. And makes the most of it. Nice job by Thorsheim. Don't want to give him any space to operate, as he found the back of the cage on a nice bouncer through the legs of Noah Francois. This is a Blair program, as you know, competes against some of the top teams in New Jersey. You've got Petty, Hunn, Lawrenceville, and that Maple. And they've had a number of lacrosse players move on to the next level. And take a look at some of those schools we mentioned this season. The Petty grudge match, 7-6 loss earlier in the year, one that Blair's team got away. They jumped out to that early 2-0 lead, and that was tightly contested throughout. And then the one that mattered, I guess, as they say, in the first round of states on the 25th, a 6-5 victory. Little payback for the Blair faithful. Shot and deflected away. And the shooter there was Brock Sisko coming in from the right edge. Evan Grohowski, one of the top defenders. Carter Albers out of Middleburg, Virginia. Again, one of those 2018 class of players. Double-digit senior crew for Coach Wenner in what has been an improvement year. Yeah, Thorsheim, Pearson, and Joyce coming off for the moment. And hustling over to the sideline. Now it's up for High Points. Morris quarterbacking the offense. Coming into this one with 13 goals on the season. Spin move, trying to find some space. Nice closure by Michael Uglum. And deflected away and into the stick of Albers. He clears the zone. Getting by Morris and trucking his way down the field. Hunter Sloan. In the third quarter, 8:13 to play. Blair looking to move to 7-5. Those 2 one-goal losses certainly will have them smarting, but again, you can't say enough about what they've done in terms of improvement this season. So keys to this matchup coming in, Yee at faceoff, and he has been outstanding today. He has allowed Blair to control early, and that's what he did early on in the first quarter. As now Bucks have it with Park. Park shifting his way in toward the net. Nice footwork, and he's able to score. And Park's got a double. He's got yet another one. And it's 14-2. Nice move by June Park. His first goal was a little bit different. That one, he controlled all the way. He said, I'm just going to take this, fire, and score. He placed it well, and he did not meet any resistance, really, as he came up from the point. So in addition to Yee at faceoff, in terms of keys to this game coming in, transition offense, capitalizing on the side and speed and pushing that transition goal. And we've seen a couple of transition tallies for Blair in this one. A lot has been when they've been able to set up in that attack zone and get things going. Moving the ball quickly was another key coming into this one from Coach Wenner to spread the defense, expose shooting lanes, and drawing the double, continue to move it to the teammates. We've seen that one as well. They've capitalized on that key to the game. First, Seattle had a couple of goals earlier on just by being in the right position and that passing, catching High Point out of position. Yeah, it's a tip behind the net. Francois will try to put the mitts on. It cannot. 6:20 to go in the stanza. 12-goal advantage for Blair. That is their highest margin of victory this season at the end. Get that running clock with those 12 goals as we approach the end of the game. Oh, Francois with a nice move there to deny what was a nice shot by Gabriel Kenja. And scooting now behind the cage, it's Blair. Coming up on the final 5 of this quarter. Owen Donahue somehow gets through and fires an off-balance shot that is handled easily by Francois, but we've got a flag, a penalty on that one. Talk about drawing the defense. Did a great job of drawing almost everyone over there. Donahue out of Tuxedo Park, New York. Again, I haven't seen a lot of penalties. Get the occasional cross check, and then you have things like that happen when you draw 3 or 4 red shirts. I was amazed that nobody was able to blockade him there. Did a good job of working his way through and getting a shot. Wasn't able to put all of it behind that shot, but nevertheless, got to give him credit because now he's got Blair another opportunity. Jenkins scored on the last man-up opportunity for Blair in this game. Nice job, and we've got another goal. Garrett Long that time. Occupying that position right in front, right outside the crease. And High Point has no answer. The passing has been nice in terms of getting in front of the net. 15-2 is now the tally. Still in the third quarter, 4:26 left in it as the clock continues to run with that high margin. So at Hun is next, and that one is the States variety matchup. That'll be on the 30th at 4:30, at least on the schedule that we've got here. And it'll be Pope John, and then Hun on the road, and then Gill St. Bernard's. And then if Blair can come away with a victory at Hun in state competition, the next state's round on the schedule as of now is 5-7, 7th of May. Time there is to be determined, but we will not get ahead of ourselves. Imagine the coaching staff doesn't want to do that either. 3:46 to play in the quarter. It was at least 8-1 after one, 12-2 at halftime. Blair has controlled this one against the High Point team with just one win this season, coming off that first victory of the season last week. Morris being harried by Pearson. Great defensive job on the top player by High Point, and he's a pretty good one. He's got both goals. Fires it in. Albers, a big save. Nice save by Albers. Jumping on top of it, trying to keep it out of harm's way, and gets a little help from the defense as well. As Hunter Sloan. And Sloan slows things up after a great job to get it out of the zone. .256 to go in the period. Park with a couple of goals today. When he's been given space, he's done a very good job of finding it and putting it in the back of the net. Park with it again. Fakes that shot, then lays it off. O'Connor, again tempting that defense, being covered by Jacob Carter, who's been very busy this evening. Versiato, he scored a couple of goals last period, just sitting again just off the goaltender's right, much like the previous goal we saw from Garrett Long. That ball movement has been great in this one. Shot off the body of Danton Hall, who stood in front in red. Now another opportunity. Stick checks away. Good job of getting out of trouble. O'Connor pulled it out, decided to set things up. Gabriel Kenja, he has not scored yet, if I'm not mistaken. He's fired a couple of missiles. We'll see if one hits the back of the net. That one went wide, coming up on the final 90 seconds of the quarter. Things have slowed down considerably in this one. It's a 3-0 advantage in this quarter alone for Blair. And a much better job tightening things up on Morris. Again, number 39 in red out there. Clearing time. And it's scooped up in front of the cage. The shot is wide. That was not Morris who fired it. It's a nice feed, though. It's High Point still alive here. Troy Van Orden or Harold Leslie. Blair on the counter. Pearson spins, fires. Oh, nice save by Francois. Coming across. Back in front. And this time he doesn't miss. And Dajay Pearson with another goal. That was an individual effort. As he was denied at first, stayed with it, picked it back up, and was able to fire it home. 16-2 as Blair continues trudging ahead toward what would be their largest margin of victory this season. So comfortable, if you will, contest before they hit the road and take on Hunt. Riley Yee back on that B logo. And we will not face it off because of the running clock. 16-2. Blair up at least 8-1 after 1, 12-2 at halftime, and now 16-2 after 3. And a chance for Blair to get some more experience. As it turns out, our player to watch today has been outstanding, as has most of the other crew on the Blair Bucks sideline. We'll have one more quarter to play, and we'll have it for you coming up in just a moment. And about to get set to start this fourth quarter with running clock, thanks to what has been an outstanding performance by the Blair Lacrosse squad. Thorsheim, the unofficial total is 4 goals for him. Pearson might have 3 as well. That's what we've gotten to at this point in the game. Little personal pride, if you will. Back on the face-off circle and ready to go. Ground ball. Who's going to have it as we've switched ends? In front of the net, a scrum. Oh, nice reaction, turning around and coming up with the save. Worked forward. That was Palmieri. I wanted to give the right player credit. I don't know. Again, it's up to the score whether that was a save or not, but good reaction. Turning around and putting his stick on it. There's a chance for Coach Wenner to rest some of his guys. Jenkins still in there, though. He's done a very good job quarterbacking things. Park with a couple of goals in this one as well. Chance for some of the players who haven't scored as many goals this season to really show what they can offer. There's been a lot of open space out there in that attack zone for the Bucks. Thorsheim, that goal-scoring lead, around 4 today. Jenkins fakes that shot. You got to honor it. He scored from there, a rocket from the point earlier on. Certainly got that arm strength, as we know. Now it's Park again. Back to Jenkins. Jenkins. Spin move. Now rotated back around for Seattle, who scored a couple of goals as well earlier in this one in that Garrett Long position. Long also with a tally from just off the keeper's shoulder. There he is. A good look here. Nice job by Andrew Furciato. The first 2 goals maybe a little bit easier right on the doorstep. That one he had to angle through and bounce through, and that is a good goal. So it is now 17-2, and that is the third. We mentioned he had 2 more earlier that were right on the crease doorstep, and that one a little bit harder to work for. A lot of people are picking up triples here. So, again, Blair will continue on. We mentioned their goal-scoring ability in earlier games. A 4-game win streak, averaged 11 goals per game. Outscoring opponents 44-16. Regardless of the opponent, those are still impressive numbers. And here it's 16-2. It is a struggling High Point squad, but got to give Blair credit because they're executing the game plan and what Coach Wenner fed to us before. They're winning those face-offs, and they're doing a very good job of moving the ball around and finding the open territory. Palmieri with a save, and that one gets away from him a little bit as he loops it down the field. Well, he hasn't been scored on yet, so he's been pretty good so far as well. And a chance for Riley Yee to play a little bit as well. He's number 1 out there. Yee will jog off here. And Kolioko. Owen Donahue. Back to Furciato. Number 4 on the right side. He has that hat trick, as you say. 3 goals. He scored 2 more earlier on. Now behind the net, rotating around. Oh, a nice quick shot. And another opportunity. And that one goes home for Kolioko. That's the second time we've seen something like that. Stick-to-itiveness, as they say. As the first shot doesn't find the back of the net, but you stay with it and you make the play again. And Francois had not been able to get the reaction to get over in time. And you just heard from our field mic, a cross check as well came with that, courtesy of Danton Hall, the defender, 33. A little bit of physicality here. Oh, by the way, I probably should mention how much time is left. 6:46 left in this one. .628 to play. 2 goals scored in this one. And there's Jenkins. A rocket again, that time in motion. Great job of finding the back of the cage. And for Seattle. Behind the net, Garrett Long. Long rotating around. Gabriel Kenja trying to get on the board as well. He's had a couple of good opportunities. Some nice shots from the point as well. This time he fires again, but Francois' stick was there in time. 4:52 left in the game. 16-goal advantage for the Blair Academy Buccaneers. Morris, watch out, he's got some trouble behind. Tried to pass it to the left of the keeper. Oh, a nice job over the shoulder, but Palmieri is there. Albert's played the first 3 quarters, a chance to sit out a little bit. Some more experience to some of the other guys in this big advantage for the Bucks. Back underway. Cisco. Now Mazza sends it forward and out of play. See a couple of cars line up on the far side. They had the right idea. It was absolutely pouring earlier. Had a chance to watch from that vantage point, and the rain has kind of tapered off since then. Blair looking to move to 7-5. It's been a tough season in terms of the loss perspective, but again, it's been a great improvement. And as Grohowski, who came back from battling mono just tonight, he's back on the roster again, was able to play, and players were really, really happy with that. And he said when we talked to him before the season that they kind of got complacent with what I guess it was termed as a mediocre play. Not the best, not the worst. And he said this year they really came in with a renewed attitude, renewed spirit, and wanting to be the best. And they've certainly improved and picked up that win total with a senior-laden squad that has had some key contributions from the freshmen at times as well. And now it's O'Connor. O'Connor spins. Fakes that shot. Floats it to the far side. And it's on the ground. Scooped up. Nice job by Andrew Furciato, who's got 3 goals today. 3 minutes left in the 4th quarter. 18-2 the score. And we've got another flag. We've had a couple of cross-checking calls. Had some holds earlier on. And Blair was able to score in both man-up situations they had earlier in the game. Jenkins coming back out there. He's certainly a player you got to watch in that man-down situation as a defense. He has the ability and the accuracy to score from what we're seeing now on the football field as the 25, 30-yard line. Now that's a body check there. An illegal body check is the call. Haven't seen too much of that physicality. And Blair has done a very good job of dealing with it. 2:08 to play now, and counting, with the running clock as it continues. The big advantage. This will be the largest margin of victory of the season so far for Blair. And the last goal for High Point came at the middle of the second quarter from Morris, and they've been held scoreless since then. Nice job staying with it. And that was Garrett Long, who does have a goal in this one. Now Haddon. Jenkins, Coach Wenner yelling to swing it around. Wants to keep that ball movement going. One of the keys to victory in this one. Imagine it's key to victory in most matches for Blair. Haddon. Back out to Jenkins. Oh, he could not handle it there. Pass was a little bit awry. He scored from that position earlier, going in this direction as well. And we've got a stoppage of play. Chance to take a little bit of a breather with 1:15 to go. That stops the running clock as well. So you look at what happened this season. Berkshire School at West Point starting things off. That was on the 24th. It was a 14-6 loss. It's a pretty good program. And then the win streak started for Blair. It's a 5-goal game for Jenkins and a win over Newton, 15-4, the victory. Romano had 4 goals as well. And it was the Romano and Jenkins show again, as each had 2 goals in the next matchup against Pennington, a 9-6 victory. And Jenkins and Thorsheim, the leading scorers, in a 10-1 win over Mercersburg. And if you're still following, the 4th victory in a row, as you may well know, was against Kittatinny. And that was a 10-5 win where Blair had 40 shots, and a 6-0 second half came away with the end of that 4-game win streak. It was interrupted by Petty, a 7-6 loss in a tough, hard-fought affair. That was on the 11th of this month. And then they turned around, had their largest margin of victory at the time of the season, Morristown Friends. And then a couple losses in a row. Hill School loss, again, one of their 1-goal defeats. And Wyoming Seminary, YSEM beat them 10-5, and then lost to a very good Lawrenceville program that has certainly seen their way around the states in terms of lacrosse program. And then coming right back and winning in the first round of states, that grudge match against Petty, a 6-5 victory last time out. Goal with 50 seconds left to seal that one. And this will be their 2nd win in a row, heading into another state matchup at Hunt. Final minute of the 4th quarter. Blair trying to put the finishing touches on this victory for the home faithful in Blairstown. Rotated around. Garrett Long. No reason to push the issue here as things are wrapping up in this game. Just practice continuing getting into those passing lanes. Now behind the cage for Seattle. 28 seconds left. Now 25. We're in the 4th. About to wrap this one up. Kolioko. Now back to O'Connor. Some playful banter with the coaches and Palmieri, as High Point has not been over their end in quite some time. That's going to do it. 18-2. Blair Academy Buccaneers with a big victory, and they had this one from the jump. At least a 7-goal margin of victory after 1 quarter. Jenkins got things started. 3 goals in succession almost from Thorsheim. And Pearson also with at least 3-goal day. Junhan Park with a couple. Furciato with 3. Long also on the board. I'm missing some names, but again, most players either scored or had a wonderful defensive effort. And in a day that welcomed the return of Grohowski, it's a Blair team that looks to be reloaded and ready. Their sights set on Hun. 18-2 is the final score today. The Blair Buccaneers, they will move to 7-5. And we want to thank you for joining us on the Play-by-Play Sports Network. this evening. Hopefully you were able to stay dry at least, as the game got delayed a little bit in about a 20-minute session of rain and a little bit of lightning and thunder, and we were able to thankfully get this one in, and Blair came away with what is their largest margin of victory on the season. And coming up next for them is a state matchup at Hun on the 30th at 4:30, at least as we know now. So we wish Blair, the Buccaneers, the best of luck in that one, as a season of improvement for the senior-laden Buccaneer lacrosse program squad continues. Thanks for watching, and hopefully you enjoyed the Blair success. Have a good night.